It's a cloudy day outside, man. I was hoping that it would be like bright so I can just record since I'm recording with this wonderful camera. Hey, I'm Chantel. Welcome back. If you've seen some of my videos, hopefully you've enjoyed it and they've been helpful. Today I'm going to be talking about catching flights. So I know COVID is going on right now, and a lot of people aren't flying, but hopefully soon we can get back into that. I seen like this post on Instagram about like CNN, from CNN, saying like people in the U.S. can't travel anywhere pretty much. So hopefully that will change after the summer. But if you ever need to catch a flight, then this video is for you. If you've never flown before or traveled, hopefully this will be a little helpful. So the first thing I want to talk about is pre-flights, and I'm following off of a list over there on the board. So if you see me like looking over there, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make this video pretty fast, but yeah. So pre-flight. So the first thing is, of course, you want to choose your destination, choose where you want to go. You need to have your dates, whether it's like from September 31st to like October 10th. Make sure you have your date. One thing that is going to be important is that you look at the airline you want to fly. If you're not sure exactly what airline you want to use, do some research. I have like this website with a whole bunch of different like airlines, and they have like the number, they have like different information. Like you can click on the link. I'm gonna try to find that and put it in the description. But choose the airline that you need. Some airlines suck, so you probably want to like do research on like the reviews on the airline, and then you want to look at like the best time to fly. So for instance, if you're going to Italy, you don't want to fly in like the summer. You probably want to wait until like October or later, because that is the busiest time of the year and flights are usually more expensive. Talking about price, you don't always want to go for the cheapest flight, not all the time. If you want to go for the cheapest flight, then you just got to keep in mind that there's possibly going to be more hidden fees or fees that you have to pay for like luggage, um, or there's going to be a longer layover. Like some flights are super cheap, are like 24-hour layovers. If you're not really a big fan of long layovers, then you might want to pick the more expensive flights. Now, you can take advantage of these layovers by just exploring the city that you're in and just traveling and seeing how that city is. It's up to you. The second thing is research the airline. So that means choose your airline, but research the airline in depth to see what type of fees they have, luggage fees, regulations, what you're allowed to bring on the flight, what you're not allowed to bring on the flight. Do they include meals inside the flight, or do you have to pay extra? Like every airline is super different. It's so important that people review the regulations for flights. I'm sorry, airlines, because each one is different. For instance, usually baggage fees are about $50 a pop when you have a check-in bag. Some places have like carry-ons for free, most of them, but maybe you might have to pay for a certain airline. They have size requirements and stuff, which I'll try to post a video in the description on how to measure out your luggage. So yeah, researching your airline is super important. Another thing is number three. So we had choose your airline, research your airline, and then choose the best layover. So if you're not really used to flying, I would suggest, this is just my opinion, to get a layover that is going to be at least an hour or longer. Because what if you have a delayed flight in for your first flight, and then your layover is only like an hour, and then you get to your next destination and you have to scramble. Like I usually like to have some wiggle room, especially if their airport is super large. You don't really know where you're going, or it takes a long time to get to point A to B. There's a lot of crowds. Like I like layovers. And like I said earlier, if you're a person who's very big on exploring, you could always leave the city or that airport to go out into the city. I went into Amsterdam one time. I had like a 5 hour layover, but my flight was delayed, so I only really had like 3 hours to explore. So I still took a chance and went out. I took the train out into the city, and it was really fun. And I went back within an hour before my next flight. So layovers can be great. So just research them. They could really benefit you. If you're not a big fan of waiting, then I mean, you got to choose your battles, right? And number four for pre-flight, under pre-flight, is going to be research your airport. So we talked about choosing your airline, researching your airline, the best layover for yourself, and then researching your airport, because some airports are tiny, medium, small, large, and you might have to take a shuttle. I know that when I go into the Pennsylvania airport in Philadelphia, that airport is so large, you actually need a shuttle. And we kind of got like a little confused because we didn't know where we were going. We didn't know we had to take a shuttle in order to get to the other terminal to catch our next flight to San Francisco. So that's why it's so important to research your airport that you're going into, whether it's the layover, whether it's your home airport, whether it's the one your destination is going to. Researching their airline, the airport is so important. All right, so the last thing is what to do before your flight. So the day before or the day of your flight. So, of course, they're going to send you your boarding pass information. That's going to be like your gate, the time of your flight, all that. You can check in online, or you can check in once you get to the airport. So that's pretty cool. I've never checked in online, but maybe I'll try it one day. I really like person to person interaction and doing things hands on, so I rather check in when I get there. Um, One cool thing is to download airline app. So depending on the airline that you have, I would like download the app because it will show you cancellations, it will show you delays, it'll show you how long you have until your flight. It will give you your boarding pass information. So downloading an app is super important. Um, and you can actually even get like the map layouts and all that other stuff. We always suggest getting to the airport 2 hours if you're flying domestically and 3 hours internationally. You could always go earlier, but never later. Weight and luggage, like I talked about before. You can buy like a weight at like Target and or Marshall's, Amazon to weigh your luggage. If you're a light packer, you might not need it, but if you're big on like souvenirs, you might want to bring a weight because they will charge you. They will charge you. Um, a few other things is like look for signs. Like when you're in the airport, look at signs, ask questions. There's a whole bunch of like screens that show every flight that's taken off within a few hours. Look at signs, follow them. If you're in another country, you might want to ask questions or research or like learn the language a little bit before you go. Because I know when I was in the Netherlands, everything was in Dutch and I couldn't understand what I was doing, and I literally had to ask someone who spoke Dutch what was going on to get back to the airport. So yeah, take those into consideration. What else do I have? Yeah, know where you're going. That includes like knowing where you're going with the maps. Travel wallets are really good to keep all your documents in. You can get those. I got mine at like TJ Maxx, I think. Like you can keep your passport, currency, all that in there. And lastly, I have 2 tips. So if you're going to go to a currency exchange, make sure you don't do it within the country you're in the airport, because their rates are crazy. And then you can usually get currency exchange within the airport that you're going to or outside the city. So if you want to research like currency exchanges within the destination you're going to, that would be the best bet, because when I was in Peru, I ended up spending more on the rate within the airport than outside, and the rate was so much better outside, but it's okay, whatever. Number two tip, and this is the last thing. when you go into from one country to the next country, you're gonna have to bring your baggage into baggage claim, and you're gonna have to pick it up. So after you go through customs, you might have a layover in that airport. You have to go and pick up your luggage, and then you got to drop it back off into check-in. So they have like these cool, fast-paced like check-in areas where you just throw your bag, give it to them, and you rush on to your next flight. So you don't have to stand in line and like literally go through that whole process. I didn't know that when I was traveling from Ghana to New York, and I was a little confused. Me and my friend was confused. He was going to Chicago. I was going to DC. So, yeah. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to list them in the comments below. And if you want more information on like travel stuff, definitely subscribe, like this video, share it if you like, and stay tuned for any more videos coming up. And stay safe with all that corona going on out there. All right, toodles.